Hi, welcome back to Growth Catalyst Sub. Today we are going to look at an exciting topic. We are going to look at how do you set smart goals. It's very, very important for us to set goals which are aligned to the SMART framework so that these goals are well aligned to your career aspirations. What is a SMART framework? I'm sure all of you know already. But to quickly recount, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, SMART, SMART framework. This is a very simple and a very effective framework for us to think about in terms of our goals so that they are very clearly defined and they are also aligned to career aspirations. Let's dive in. Let's see. Let's see the first one, specific, S of the SMART framework. Let me give an example. Howard Schultz, who was a CEO of Starbucks in 1990s, wanted to expand. The Starbucks was based out of Seattle in the US, but he wanted to expand beyond Seattle. And the specific number that he took was that he wanted to have 1,000 stores of Starbucks by the year 2000. Very, very specific number. Towards this, he looked at replicating the store experience, the current store experience in every single store that he newly opened, replicating and developing the brand so that it becomes a global brand. And for each store, there were specific targets to be achieved by specific time frames. So it's as specific as it gets. Most of the corporates do this very well. They set targets for themselves based on the growth rates, based on how the country is doing, based on their own understanding of what products and technologies they're going to bring into the market next year. And therefore, they set targets for year. They set quarterly targets going forward so that they can track the numbers, track the progress, and see whether they are progressing as well as they want it to be. So that's specific for you. Suppose you are a software developer, junior software developer, and you want to go up in your career. If you say that your goal is getting promoted, that's a very vague goal. That's a result. It's an important result, but that's only a result, and that's not a goal. A goal is something like, I want to get promoted by ensuring that I improve my coding skills and by leading a team all by myself without much of a supervision from my boss. So that is very close to a more specific, more smarter goal. If you can also add time frame to it, I want to become better in my coding skills, can be replaced by I want to learn Python, I want to learn Java, any of the languages which are important to you, and I want to be able to program completely without supervision, without any aid, and I want to lead a project without supervision so that I'm ready to be going to the next level, and I want to do all of this within the next 1.5 years. Now that is very, very specific and very, very measurable. That's what I mean by setting SMART goal. Suppose you are a territory sales executive. Your goal could be, I want to become territory sales officer the next 1 year by showing sales growth of at least 20% plus on my numbers and learning better effective communication skills. That's a very specific, very measurable goal. Now, think about what is a goal that you have for yourself. Think about your career, where you want to go, and put a very, very specific goal right now. Go ahead, do it. The second part of the SMART goal framework is M, which is measurable. The more specific something is, the more and the more easily that you can track it, measure it. In the example that we talked about, in the case of Howard Schultz, in the Starbucks example, his end goal was 1,000 stores by the end of the year 2000. And he also broke it down by measurable numbers for every quarters. In the example that we talked about, in the case of somebody being a junior software developer, the specific and therefore measurable goals could be, by the end of the month 3, I should be very, very proficient in, say, Python. By the end of month 6, I should be doing coding of large projects of this size, let's say 2 crore, 3 crore size projects using Python. By the end of month 9, I should be leading a team of 3 people who are coding for projects which are 2 crore plus using Python. By the end of month 12, I should be leading a client whose project is, let's say, 5 crore plus using Python, using Java, and so on and so forth, so that I am clearly proficient in the language and I am also proficient in leading my team. Now, these goals are not only specific, but they are measurable because they can be measured against the flow of time, and you yourself know whether you are progressing as per your own thinking in terms of where you want to land at the end of year 1. So that's what I meant by specific and now by being measurable. Now let's go and see the third one. The third part of the SMART framework stands for achievable, A for achievable. It's important that you set realistic goals which are achievable. For example, in the Howard Schultz example of Starbucks, if he had started saying that, today it's year 1991, and by next year we want to open 1,000 stores. That's very highly unrealistic target. People and the team would have given up even before they began. In our example of the software developer, if the junior software developer wanted to become a senior software developer in 2 months' time, that's not realistic. So you need to give time for you to get the skills. First, you need to identify the skills, and then you need to learn, and then you need to practice. And the practice has to be so habitual, so well done, so that you are proficient in that skill. And all of this is going to take time. So you need to set time goals in terms of what is realistically achievable. If they are not achievable, if they are mission impossible, you are very likely to give up even before you put the best of the efforts. So in our territory sales exam officer, territory sales representative wanting to become territory sales officer example, he set a timeline of about 1.5 years so that he can learn how to grow and show that growth of whatever sales that he is handling. But suppose you wanted to become a territory sales officer in 3 months' time, how will you even prove to yourself and to the organization that you're worthy of that promotion? Very difficult. So be realistic, set achievable goals. They should not be so easy that you can achieve without even trying. There is no point setting goals like that. So don't set targets which are so easy that you can easily achieve. It just becomes a tick mark in the list of things that you want to achieve. There's no point setting a goal. That's a task, not even a task. I don't know how to describe it. But don't go and swing the other way. Don't set up extremely unrealistic targets because they are going to deter your efforts from even happening. So set achievable targets, and let's now see the fourth one. The fourth one in the SMART framework is R. R stands for relevant goals. Let's take the case of Obama. Early on, Obama wanted to become a senator, and a lot of his goals were aligned to the career vision of becoming a senator. And later on, he aspired to become US president. And a lot of his goals in terms of learning a lot more about his community, learning a lot more and doing networking with powerful people in the Senate, understanding everything about law, and whatever he did in terms of learning, doing, organizing, networking, and so on were well aligned. All of these goals were extremely aligned with his overall career vision of becoming US president one day. Similarly, if, let's say in our examples, the 2 examples that we have been talking about, one, and your career aspiration is becoming sales manager one day, but you set goals that you want to learn finance and tally. By itself, it's a good goal, but is it relevant for you? at this stage of your career? Is it going to add value to where you want, what you want to become and where you want to go? May not be. So that's what I'm talking about in terms of relevance. The goals, the things that you want to do, are they well aligned to you becoming what you want to be in that specific time frame? In our other example of a junior software person who wants to become a senior software person and a project leader later on, if that person sets goals in terms of, I want to know how, I want to learn how to write a novel. That's a good goal by itself. But is that a good goal for you as a person if your aspiration is to become a team leader, project leader in a software company later on? Not so. So you need to look at the goals. Are they aligned very well with what you want to do, where you want to take your career aspirations? And unless they are relevant, they may be interesting to you. They may add some fun elements to your life, but they may not necessarily be well aligned towards where you want to go. So you need to really look at the goals that you are taking, the things that you want to do are aligned to your overall career goals so that everything runs smoothly like a well-oiled engine. The last one in the SMART framework is T, stands for time bound. If any of your goals is not having a time bound plan, then it's a wish, it's not a goal. If you say that I want to read this book, that's a wish. If you say that I want to read this book by end of this week, that's a goal. So you need to have all your goals very, very well defined in terms of time. You may have different sets of goals to reach that overall career aspirations. And each of these goals have to be acted upon on a daily basis. Then you need to look at whether you can spend the time on goal 1, goal 2, goal 3, sub goal 1, sub goal 2, sub goal 3, because they may demand a lot of time in terms of studying, in terms of improving your skills, and so on and so forth. And are you realistic in terms of spending this time? You will even get to know this only when you put time-bound goals. The examples that we have been talking about, whether it is Howard Schultz or the software developer or the territory sales representative examples that we have been talking about, all of them set goals very clearly in terms of time-bound fashion. Howard Schultz, the Starbucks CEO, set very clearly time-bound goals. By the year 2000, I want to be having 1,000 stores in Starbucks franchise. That's the definition. So it's easy to break that down in terms of, okay, in the next 10 years, you want to have 1,000 stores. Every year, how many stores have to be opened and how much each of the stores have to do. So that's very easy. Similarly, if you set a goal of from a junior software developer to a senior software developer, I want to do it in 1.5 years' time. What are the things that you need to do every single month? From a territory sales representative to a sales manager, I want to become in 3 years' time. It's very easy to know what are the things that you need to do every single quarter. So setting a time-bound goal allows you to think and reflect and draw a plan of action for every single month, for every single week, for every single day. That's the power of the SMART framework. Some other things that might help you in this entire journey of setting SMART goals and reaching that career aspiration or one, break down that long-term goal. The goal could be, in our example, the junior software developer wanting to become a senior software developer and then a project leader. He may have a time horizon of 2 years. Then in the 2 years, yes, you want to become a project leader, but in these 2 years, what are the things that you need to do to reach there? What are the skills that you need to develop? And can you break down those sub goals in terms of smaller things so that you can achieve one by one? For example, I want to learn language 1. I want to lead a small project 1. I want to lead a small project 2. I want to learn this communication skill. I want to lead this kind of a client. All of these could be set of small goals with their own time frame so that all of these collectively lead to that larger goal of where the person wants to be. The second one that you may want to do, the second one that you need to have is a plan of regular check-ins. Who's going to review your progress? You have to do it. Nobody is going to do it for you. Of course, there will be an annual appraisal in any company, but to my mind, it comes too late for any use, for it to be of any use to anyone. So the ownership of your carry is completely on you. And therefore, you need to review whether the sub goals, overall goals, and the long-term goals are going as per your time plan and your liking. So that's very important. So you need to plan regular check-ins. You need to plan a review mechanism. A lot of people, what they do, they also share their career goals, their aspirations, and their sub goals, and what they are doing with their best friends. It could be your spouse. It could be your best friend. It could be somebody who cares for you in the company that you are working in. It could be even your boss who cares for you. As long as somebody who cares for you and who will definitely sit with you, review with you, and hold you accountable for your targets, then it's good to share your ideas, your plans, your goals with that person so that they will push you to be accountable for what you want to do for your progress. A third thing that you may want to do is to celebrate small wins. Sometimes we forget in the journey to enjoy the moments of success. You may think that I want to get promoted, that's my goal, and that is going to happen only 3 years down the line. Today, the sub-goal of learning this particular language is done, but wait, I'm not going to celebrate now. I will celebrate 3 years down the line. Don't do that. Celebrate today. Celebrate small wins. The goal may happen 3 years down the line, but the celebration of each individual smaller milestones gives you enormous energy. It fills you with that energy that you need to go to the next step. You need to take the next step towards that goal. So ensure that each of these milestones, however small they are celebrated whenever they happen. And the best of the people do that. The best of the people celebrate every small wins along with their teams. If it's an individual goal and somebody does well, the best of the people, successful people, ensure that they celebrate that. It's an important thing to do. So go ahead, celebrate small wins, small milestone achievements, even if they are very small in your eyes. As long as they take you towards that bigger, larger career goal that is aligned with all of this, it's important to celebrate. Do that. So let's summarize what we have seen in this session so far. It's important for you to set SMART goals, not only SMART goals, which are well aligned with your overall career aspirations. And the SMART goals are very simple. They should be specific. They should be measurable. They should be achievable, realistically achievable. They should be relevant for you, meaning they are all aligned with your overall career aspirations and not all kinds of orbit things. And finally, every single goal should be time bound so that you can track it, you can measure it, you can review it to move forward in your life. So go ahead, set SMART goals. I'm sure you liked this session. If you liked it, please like it. Please subscribe to the channel, Growth Catalyst Sub, and we will see you in our next session. See you.